Welcome everyone, my name is Kylo, and today Inscryption's Kaycee's mom, we have a little special run. So I've been really watching speedruns of different games on YouTube recently, and so it got me interested in checking out the speedrun community for Inscryption. And there is one, and so I thought that for just fun, I would make an attempt at a speedrun challenge. And I chose the high cost deck because I figured that seems to be pretty much comes down to high cost deck and Mantis God decks are the two decks that are used for this. Mostly because I think I went with high cost because we can see right there, got Moose Buck up to 5 damage right at the start. I noticed that Direwolves seemed to be very popular, but more or less it came down to have Black Goat, play your strongest card, try and win in as few turns as possible. This is definitely not the fastest run out there, that is for sure, but it was a nice exercise. And a lot of it is just kind of having to take a quick glance at the map, trying to get an idea of what nodes are coming in, what nodes you need, what to avoid, and then mostly it's just trying to click through things as fast as possible. Try and burn what we can. Alright, that's going to hurt our one cost, but it's a Corpse Eater, so it can at least help as a defender or subsequent sacrifice. And see, now this is where we start running into problems, because now we have 3/1 bloods. None of them are Black Goat. And that's just going to slow. So this is where I'm going to lose a lot of time, is on these types of fights, where I don't top deck Black Goat and Moose Buck. And Magpie is going to be an essential piece to any kind of run with the Black Goat, just so you can bare hand the Black Goat and then play your strongest card right away. Oh, there we go. Magpie. Perfect. So, yeah, it's not saying... Inscryption is an interesting for a speedrun because there's just so much randomness involved that you can't really plan too much. You can have, you know, some general idea about what you want to do, but when it comes down to it, it really is going to end up on what nodes you land, what the map looks like, what the card offers are, enemy placement, enemy totem. So adder could be good either as a, you know, to take out cards or to burn at a bonfire. Probably end up burning at a bonfire just to maybe help along the way. Oh, here we go. Yep. Adder, if we're lucky, it burns. It burns, so there we go. Now bonfires are just going to be beneficial boosts for all our cards as we go along. The toughest part is going to be the bears, that is for sure. And the Angler, too, is going to be a difficult fight unless we can get Moose Buck onto the board ASAP. We didn't draw Moose Buck, so that means we're going to be in serious issue. But we can at least use the field mice to keep us ahead of the score count. Because now if we draw Moose Buck... No, but we grabbed our good Black Goat. That is good enough for us. Oh, right. I don't know why I forgot. This is... I guess I should have remembered what it is. So it's a no challenge. So this the most common speedrun category that I saw in there was no challenges speedrun. So there's no bears, thankfully. That would be awful having to try and figure out how to do bears fast. But what we do get though is zero challenge, which gives us access to, you know, the fish hook, rares, low difficulty, so we can try and speed through this as fast as possible. I know, I think personally, a Mantis, I don't know, I tried doing some runs with the Mantis God, and I would agree that Mantis God, if you can get the deck set up properly, is faster, but I was just having issues with, it's having to restart a lot of times because of, you need the bonfires to work. It's a very bonfire dependent because you have to burn a ringworm right away, and then you got to hit you got to hit 2 offensive bonfires, and you have to hope that you don't have spikes. At least here, though, we've kind of got it set up now so we can, as long as we draw our good black goat, we can play our moose buck 1-turn win. And deck size management is going to be very important, more important than any other kind of run, because you want to make sure your options are as limited as possible. Get rid of those 1-bloods that we don't need. Try to make our way through. Let's see. Yeah, good. We didn't grab our good black goat, but grabbed our good moose buck, and that helps. Now we just kind of want to speed through as fast as possible, and each map is generally takes longer than the last due to increasing difficulty. So it'd be interesting. I did get a time tracker. If you watch other speedruns, you might recognize it. It's the common live split tracker. So probably we'll see that map 2 is going to take longer than map 1, and then map 3 is going to take longer than map 2, and if we're lucky, the final boss is going to be super fast. And this is, I think, a decision that probably cost me in the long run was putting fecundity on black goat. My rationale for doing that was to get to make sure that, say, prospector fights, trapper, we would have a backup moose buck to win phase 2, because we have extra black goats, or we might have the squirrels needed. But the downside, though, is that every time we play moose buck, we waste a few seconds getting that duplicate into the hand, and that eats away at the time overall. Definitely hurts, but you'll see at the end, though, I believe the world record place is just under 12 minutes, and we're not going to get anywhere close to that. So the few seconds lost by playing moose buck does build up, but it's not. That wasn't the deciding factor. This is just early time, and I don't know how. I'm presuming that the world record holders practice a lot, because you have to practice. And then, as I mentioned too, it's going to be a lot of luck. So here we go. Bull, hand cracking. That's a problem. But try and get some. What's the way? We do not have the cards needed to get our backup moose buck, but with the hook we do, and that gives us the 1-turn phase win. And I've seen a lot of flying, like putting airborne sigil onto cards, which for the most part would make sense, because on 0 challenge there's not going to be many air blockers, especially in phase 2. Oh, I was wrong. Looks like map 2 actually took less time than map 1. That is very rare. Normally map 2 takes quite a bit longer. But I think, though, since we got our black goat, our moose buck built up, we're able to go a little bit faster, a little bit smoother. The faster we get through the nodes, the better our time will be. And I grabbed Ouroboros just as an emergency backup. At the very least, it won't hurt us being a 2-blood. But we're not going to be able to spend any time, even if we had an unkillable black goat, it wouldn't be worth the time trying to build up Ouroboros. Really, in these runs, you really just want one hero card that can win the round on its own. And yeah, these transitions between nodes, they can take quite a bit of time, so pretty much trying to preemptively click all planning ahead. It's like, all right, where do I need to go? What cars do we need to get or get rid of? And see, now I am thinking, it's like, oh, this extra black goat is causing a problem, and I don't know what to do about it. And, you know, cave trials, it's going to be important to avoid these as much as possible, but sometimes you can't avoid them, especially if they're down the route you need to take, but they are good for getting rid of, or not getting cards. Usual. And here I kind of made a mistake where I was like, oh, pack rat. It's like, no, we need to focus on our black goats, and unkillable black goat is going to be very useful. Especially when I'm looking ahead, we see that there is a fusion, so that's going to be to our benefit. So that means we're going to have an unkillable hoarding black goat, which is going to make the coming boss fights much easier to deal with, because then we're going to have a second moose buck. That means we're going to be able to play the second moose buck right away. And typically I notice when reviewing the speed runs was that the goal is to have just enough damage to win without getting extra teeth. You don't want teeth, because the teeth animation at the end is just wasted time. So for like the no challenges run, having 5 damage exactly is what you want, because then it's just like hit the end of the scale, no teeth, move forward. Whereas obviously with tip scales for, say, Skull Storm, you're going to want 6 damage so you can hit that exactly and be done. So yeah, that's what I noticed, is like a lot of the bonfires, it's like, yep, they maybe use an offense bonfire once or twice, get them up to 5, and then they don't want to buff them any further. That's why double strike is, you have to be careful with it, because now if I had put double strike on the moose buck, that's 10 damage and 2 attacks, so that's just a lot of extra animation time that needs to go into this. Unfortunately, we did not draw the black goat. That is a problem. But now we did. Now we can bleach the bloodhound to prevent further damage. But now we got moose buck. The gold will block, and then our moose buck will be able to attack. At this point, our deck is very good. Most likely going to go grab items, so we just need non-one blood cards here. Like, you're really perfect. Quickly clicking on the items, trying to get there as fast. Yes, black goat, magnifying glass scissors, those are perfect items for us. Now, the only other alternative would be, say, is if we could quickly get to phase 3 and then bleach, fan, fly over. That would be great, but we still have to deal with mole men and stumps, so we need to make sure that we have what we need to get through. And yes, with the hoarder, it is helpful, but it also does do a small bit of delay. But we are going to have moose buck primed, ready to go. Then we can always bring out our other moose buck in case we're worried about the stump. But we don't need to get rid of that moose buck though with our unkillable black goat. We just grab any card we need, because we mostly just need these moose bucks. There we go. Now we're done with phase 2. We moved to phase 3. Our moose bucks alone are going to do 10 damage, so that's 4 turns. And now I had to decide, do I just do 4 turns clicking, spacing as fast as I can, or would it be better to say, get these other 3 blood costs out there trying to speed along that damage output. I'm not exactly sure what would have been the best case, but I figured, there we go, 17 damage a turn, so we do it in 3 turns rather than 4 might be better, because now I can just keep hitting the hotkey for the bell ring. And then we also, as soon as the moon dies, we don't have to wait another turn to attack. We just have Moose and Bear go for it. And time ends when the screen goes black, and there we go with a time of 15:22. That is that was my record. Got submitted, and at the time of its submission, it got me 11th place for the high cost deck. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining me. I'm not going to be doing regular speed runs. It's just a lot of reset, a lot of time, a lot of stress. But I just thought I'd give it a shot just to kind of get a taste of that speed running world. So thank you for joining me. Like and subscribe to see more videos that I've done. I'll catch you later in the next episode.